Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. It is Journaling with Jay, and today we're going to dive deep into those friends that you have or the friends that you have bonded over time. Today we're going to be talking about why Gen Z friendships feel so fragile and how a lot of people feel the same way. So let's get right into the video, shall we? So, have you ever lost a friend and no one ever talked about it? Like one day you're close, the next day you barely text, and it just drifts. That feeling like friendships are fragile or disappear too fast is something a lot of Gen Z is noticing. And it's not just in your head. The numbers show that friendships are changing in a real way. So, Section 1. Gen Z feels lonely even with friends. Studies show that loneliness and social disconnection aren't rare for Gen Z, they're common. About 63 of Gen Z report feeling lonely, frequently or sometimes, and 42% say they always feel lonely, or often. A lot of these comes down to friendships, not feeling deep or easy to maintain. In fact, a huge 74% say authenticity, social connections are hard to find, and 58% report they have fewer friends than they like. If that hits you,
Gen Z is the loneliest generation out there. Okay, we've been hearing the news about the loneliest epidemics that are going on, but has anybody ever sat down and questioned why? I'm about to turn 26 years old this year, okay, so I'm part of Gen Z. I like to go out, I like to socialize, I like going to parties, and obviously when you go to these events, any type of event or party, you meet people, you talk to people, right? So sometimes I would, go up to people, say hello, introduce myself, ask them questions, and they look at me like I'm a freak. They look at me like I got 2 heads and 5 tongues. I mean, it's not well received at all, especially from the younger generation, from the Gen Zs, okay? People my age, they think it's a weird thing to do.
Time with friends when they were teens compared to older generations. And on that note, I feel like the older generations, we're talking like millennials, right? I feel like they always have this perception of what Gen Z is supposed to be like when we're obviously living in different times. People back then, like millennials and people that are in the older generation, they're like, hey, like I really want, my daughter to go outside and spend time with her friends and that and the third. But how can your daughter spend time outside when she's not applicable to it, when she was in lockdown with no one to talk to, right? So there's bigger expectations for us Gen Zers that we feel pressured to, right? And we always have that one parent that says, why don't you go outside and spend more time with your friends? But in actuality, it feels hard to even maintain these friendships outside of school, out of college, out of high school. So a lot of people take different paths, right? And so when that shift kind of moves around, we are left with no friends, and we feel that it's hard to maintain those friends that take more time to maintain, right? So, with that being said, a earlier practice, a small talk, hangout, and plans matters more than we realize. So, when did adult friendships come around? It feels different, like we're not fully trained for it. I also want to add on to that, adult friendships, when we reach our like 30s or older, right, we want to have friends that grow up with us, right? We always want that one friendship that like is from middle school or elementary, right, to grow up with us all the way up to our adulthood, right? That is something that we see with relationships as well. High school sweethearts, elementary, right? We went years and years and years and years and years, right? But as time changed, a lot of people are really like, okay, this friendship broke off because they ghosted me. Now I have to rebuild that friendship, and it's tiring, and it's a cycle that Gen Z has, and a lot of people experience it. And I, for sure, experience it.
I think the hardest thing about people leaving your life is that, like, when the new people come, they just don't get it. Like, they don't get it. Like, they don't get the inside joke. They don't get it. Like, even if I were to send this video right now, like, you wouldn't even get it. Like, and, like, they would laugh. They would probably hysterically be crying with me on the phone at, like, 12 in the morning, but, like, no, like, you don't get it. Like, you don't even listen to me. You literally say that you're listening, but as soon as I finish sharing my feelings, you start talking about yourself and making it self-centered.
People did a decade ago. And a lot of friendships drift, not because of drama, but because of life changes, school, work, moving, and burnout. People are cautious. Rejection hurts more because we've all experienced ghosting or vague communication online. So, when did friendship start keeping takes a lot more effort, right? So, why friendships feel fragile? Does it feel like friendships fall apart so easily? Number one, digital versus real life. Screens make it easy to connect and just as easy to disconnect. 2, higher standards. We want emotional depth, and if it's not there quickly, we drop it. 3, emotional exhaustion. Many Gen Zers say social anxiety or fear of judgment stops them from intimidating deeper bonds. 4, life transitions. Friends move, jobs start, routines change, and without intentional effort, connections fade. That is not weakness. That's a modern life. So, let's talk about work friendships and loneliness. It's not just friendships outside. Even at work, many feel disconnected. A survey found 77% of Gen Z employees have felt lonely at work at the same point when even socializing with coworkers. This tells you something. Loneliness isn't about having friends. It's about feeling connected. And feeling connected takes more than presence. It takes more vulnerability, trust, and time. So, let's go on a hopeful note, right? So, if friendships feel fragile, it's not about personal failure. It's about reflection of the world we live in digital communication, emotional burnout, big expectations, fewer neutral social spaces. But here's the core truth. People still want connection. And that means friendships can still happen, just differently. Maybe intentionally, maybe slowly, but real. And if you ever lost a friend and wonder why, now you have some of the wonder why. So, comment one thing you wish friendships had taught you. I would read all of them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and bye.